watching TVC Breakfast. Casualisation of workers is on the front burner as the world commemorates the 2019 Workers' Day.
Casualisation, highlighted as one of the problems of employment in Nigeria, is set to be rampant in the health and banking sectors. It is against the International Labour Organization Convention on Engagement of Skilled and Unskilled Manpower.
Addressing the issue, President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, stated that casualisation of workers is thriving due to the high rate of unemployment in the country, which now stands at 23.1%.
According to him, where there is acute shortage of jobs, the temptation to exploit the system is always high. This, coupled with lack of adequate laws by government to protect the vulnerable casualized worker, makes the matter even worse for those in this part of the world.
All right, this is another aspect of another area in the labor movement that, or in the labor industry or sub-industry that the union has to look into really
addressed
seriously.
Urgently, because according to reports, about 70% of Nigerians are casualized. Which is terrible, really, really terrible. Labor has to look into that.
All right, joining me now is a consultant, Exitum Consulting, Adeyemi Ajayi. Good morning, Adeyemi. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
Right. When it comes to the idea of casualization, it is not new to the system in Nigeria, but it seems the labor movement or the organized labor has been very helpless in handling the situation.
There's actually no framework, no policy guiding casualization in Nigeria. Unfortunately, a lot of business owners take advantage of this. One of the things they do is, first, because of cost, and they started with the issue of they want to manage cost, they want to reduce labor cost and all that. Unfortunately, again, some of these casual workers are being subjected to very terrible
working conditions.
No healthcare coverage for some, and they're also exposed to hazards, just like the, let me say, regular staff, in quotes. So it makes me think that people are taking advantage. When I mean people now, a lot of business owners.
And employers.
Employers, they're taking advantage of this. And it's something that is very terrible. And if care is not taken, it will get to a point where people will protest. But labor being helpless means there's nothing they can stand on legally.
Yeah, but if you talk about the issue of, because you said there's no framework guiding that in real terms, isn't that part of what the labor should have taken headlong when it comes to ensuring that there's a legal framework backing that?
Yeah, you see, over the world, casualization exists. So if labor is coming to ask for a framework or a guidance or something, in what way do they want it to operate? Do they want to totally obliterate casualization, or do they want to set conditions under which casualization should be
There are categories of work. For instance, in the banking industry, we know that in telecoms and all of that, these are high-rate blue-chip work, as or may call it white-collar or blue-collar jobs, as the case may be. When it comes to casualization at that level of work, how desirable do you think that is?
Yeah, in my own personal opinion, I think some industries should not be allowed to casualize workers, like banks, for example, because there is no clear job segmentation or differentiation. What a regular staff can do, the casual
staff can also do.
Why are you trying to casualize some? You get my point. So, excuse me. So that is to tell you that, to an extent, some industry like the telecoms, banks you mentioned, shouldn't be allowed at all to go into that, because there's really no difference.
All right. Adeyemi Ajayi, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're watching TVC Breakfast. Casualization of workers is on the front burner as the world commemorates the 2019 Workers' Day.
Casualization, highlighted as one of the problems of employment in Nigeria, is set to be rampant in the health and banking sectors. It is against the International Labour Organization Convention on Engagement of Skilled and Unskilled Manpower. Addressing the issue, President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, stated that casualization of workers is thriving due to the high rate of unemployment in the country, which now stands at 23.1%. According to him, where there is acute shortage of jobs, the temptation to exploit the system is always high. This, coupled with lack of adequate laws by government to protect the vulnerable casualized worker, makes matters even worse for those in this part of the world. Well, joining me now is a consultant, Exitom Consulting, Adeyemi Ajayi. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast this morning. Happy Workers' Day.
Happy Workers' Day. Good morning.
Now, according to reports, about 70% of Nigeria's workforce is casualized. How worrying is this figure?
Very worrisome. And I want to tell you that it's something that almost everybody is bringing into their work system now.
Why is that?
Yeah, some believe that they need to cut down costs, and some also believe that because job seekers are at their own mercy, so they have to decimate these workers and put them like non-valuable workers, in quotes, let me put it that way. And I think it's a very terrible thing because the rate of unemployment is increasing, going up, and people are taking advantage of that to casualize people that are ordinary.
But isn't this having an impact on the economy? Because IMF recently said that Nigeria's economy is growing, and if we have 70% of the workers being casualized, how do you sit with this?
For the economy to be growing and having a casualized workers, I think in the real term, I would say for an economy to grow, the people would have to grow. And when I mean the people, now I'm talking about the workers. And some of these people don't have career paths. They don't have values. When I mean values this time around, what benefit comes to them? So if the economy is growing at the expense
of the people.
Rather, it should be driven by the people. So the formulation is not right. The configuration is not right.
So how do we begin to change this configuration or formulation?
Okay. The government should set standards, should set frameworks, should set policies. And these are the things that will guide to a large extent on how people are being employed. And it tells you that some industry, for instance, should not be allowed by government to casualize workers. Because if you look at workforce segmentation, what some casual workers do could even be more strenuous than what other categories of workers do at same place. And they don't get that benefit. And some of them even get thrown out like trash. They get dealt with like they don't belong to the system.
But that's where labor comes in.
Okay.
That's the labor unions now. Yeah. How would you evaluate their efforts at dealing with such issues when it comes to throwing off casualized workers without any welfare package?
For me, I want to see the labor succeeding with this so that people will have better life. With this minimum wage, I want to tell you to an extent that casualization will increase. It will increase because people will not want to go through the route of other benefits that go to workers.
All right.
Yeah. So they want to cut that part off.
All right. Thank you, Adeyemi Ajayi, for your time on TVC Breakfast.
You're watching TVC Breakfast. Casualization of workers is on the front burner as the world commemorates the 2019 Workers' Day.
Casualization, highlighted as one of the problems of employment in Nigeria, is set to be rampant in the health and banking sectors.
It is against the International Labour Organization Convention on Engagement of Skilled and Unskilled Manpower. Addressing the issue, President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, stated that casualization of workers is thriving due to the high rate of unemployment in the country, which now stands at 23.1%. Now, according to him, where there is acute shortage of jobs, the temptation to exploit the system is always high. This, coupled with lack of adequate laws by government to protect the vulnerable casualized worker, makes matters even worse for those in this part of the world. Joining me now is a consultant, Exitom Consulting, Adeyemi Ajayi. Good morning. It's nice to have you join me right now.
Good morning.
Now, it is no news that we have a shortage of jobs across the entire country, all sectors as the case may be. But when it comes to casualization of workers, or what they call, there's another term I can't use right now. But the point there is, when it comes to that aspect of things, how does the desperation of workers make them fall into that, that bracket or that net?
You see, yes, we don't have jobs, as it were, and we have more people coming out from schools, and more people that should have been working and are working. Now, people, let me say, business owners this time around, they take advantage of that, and people have no choice. They have bills to pay. They have a lot of...
And they're desperate.
And they're desperate. So they will just take whatever comes.
Is government taking advantage of this as well? Because when it comes to the issue of the framework to straighten things and make things work, it rests with government. And we don't see government taking that action. Is government benefiting from that system?
I do not think governments are benefiting.
All right. So what makes it difficult or challenging for government to decide to put the legal framework in place?
If government puts legal framework in place, that's a very good thing. Another thing is, how do they manage the after effects? Okay. Because, definitely the cost of operations or doing businesses will go up. And some of these casual workers will have benefits that come to them, which, of course, we expand the expenditure pause for a regular business person. So the person this time around, is the one bearing the brunt, not the government. So government has nothing to lose whether they put something on ground or not. But in order to defend the standard of work and also to align with ILO conventions, they ought to put these things in place. I mean, as it were.
All right. When it comes to the issue of taxes, we know certainly it is government who benefits from taxes one way or the other. But on the other hand, when labor unions stand against the increment of tax, are you seeing where there's going to be a clash somehow? Because in the last few months, or in the last 1.5 months thereabout, there was the controversy around the issue of increment of value-added tax and back and forth and all of that. Now, the 30,000 naira minimum wage is law now. What are we going to see? The likelihood of tax increase?
Yeah, I want to tell you that tax will not come up.
Okay.
It's an option. I do not see it coming up.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, I do not see it coming up because people already, they'll push back on that.
Okay.
I mean, strongly. Because it's like you're giving me 30,000 naira, you are taking 50,000 naira away from me. Because if I have other money outside the 30,000 you are giving me, you are going to tax those money. So that tells you that it's not even those that get pay rise, or as it were, the minimum wage, that will suffer for it.
Right.
So it's going to have a lot of ripple effect. And at the end of the day, governments, they will have money, but they will create more problems. Right. So I think the best thing to do with tax is to drag people into the tax net. Yeah.
Those who originally were not paying. Or maybe even underpaying.
So they should drag everyone into tax.
All right, Hadeyemi Ajayi, thank you very much for coming on the program.